I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I'd like to welcome Autumn to the podcast. Hi.
Hi.
I tuned into one of your streams the other day, and I noticed that you have a certain shall we say cultish type thing following you.
A little bit.
Yes. Yes. We'll talk about that in just a second. But first, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Weird Autumns. I'm a VTuber on both Twitch and YouTube. We do usually themed months on game series that I like to do, and then also just weird, the weirdest stuff that I can find. I love the weird days.
Yeah, you kind of taken the medium and just embraced it, haven't you? If something you could do on it, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's refreshing. It's just enjoying yourself all the way. How did you get started with the VTubing thing?
I suppose that has to go back quite a bit. I've been doing this whole streaming thing for like a little bit over 10 years now.
Whoa!
Started in like 2015. As a YouTuber, as one does. And moved into streaming as I think it was like October of 2015. I did Resident Evil 4 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But I remember I kept upping my production quality.
Yeah.
I kept doing more and more stuff until I got to a point where I'm like, I can't afford to do any of this anymore. It got to a point where I couldn't up the quality to do the things that I wanted to do any higher.
Yeah.
This was a few years before VTubers were a thing,
right.
Really. I think, if I'm remembering my VTuber history, I think 2015 was the first time a VTuber actually did anything, and that was in like Japan.
Yeah,
it wasn't
well
years.
known then, for sure. It didn't have nearly the reach it does now.
But I do recall thinking to myself that it would be nice to be able to, it would be easier to do this if I could make a 3D model and then like track it with like a Kinect camera. And then I did nothing with that until about 2022, whenever VTubers were a lot easier to get into.
So you had this all planned out and then immediately put it on the back burner.
Yeah, classic streamer behavior.
It's all ready to go. I'm going to ignore it now for several years.
Yep.
Well, I mean, what was the thing that brought you back to it? Or was it one thing?
Well, I always liked streaming.
Yeah.
Every time I stopped streaming, I was always thinking about I should stream again soon. And I never stopped streaming for more than a few months. I think during the pandemic, it was like a year or so that I took a break.
That was when everybody was starting.
Yeah, that's my biggest regret is that I stopped streaming when all the VTubers showed up. If I would have just like kept going and started doing like some VTubery stuff, I would have been right up with them at the right time.
You had the captive audience right there. And
Yep.
Well, I mean, it just timing. Everybody goes on their own timing. That's the way it works. So when you did get back on, was it easy to get back on the horse?
I'm gonna go with kinda. It's once you kind of develop that sort of like improv relationship with a video game.
Yeah.
It's like riding a bike. You can always get back up on that bike. There's always going to be something you're going to want to try and change a little bit, and you're going to be a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
But it is just getting back into it wasn't all that hard for me.
But now getting back to it with the VTuber model as opposed to how you were streaming before, Did you find a major difference in how you approached going on a stream?
At first, no, I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't remember changing it all that much. I had a little PNG tuber, if I'm remembering correctly. It was themed around being a cardboard cutout at the time.
Which
And I
which
thought that
makes
was
sense.
funny.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I just went about businesses. If anything, I think it made it a little bit easier to relax a little bit
Mm.
and like chill out for the streams because I didn't have to worry about like oh I had to make sure I also looked good for the
Yeah.
stream. Now I can wake up and I can skip a shower and play Castlevania or whatever.
Yeah, that was one of the great things about radio for me is that I had the face for it, and it was that's a very old joke, but also very true.
Yeah.
I am also a very old joke, as people have found out. Um, it's there's a lot of difference in comfort level when you don't have to worry about someone having their eyes on directly on you.
Yeah, whenever it's just voice and like an avatar or just
Hmm.
nothing at all, it changes things quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. And did you find that it made you a little freer to do some things while you were streaming?
Oh yeah,
Mm,
yeah,
well, yeah, it's just kind of open up a little bit and let the crazy out.
yeah, yeah, most definitely.
I, I say that in the most positive of terms. I don't get
Yeah,
anybody I don't get anybody mad out there too much. But it does it just watching what you're doing with it. It seems like you're absolutely enjoying yourself with it, and the folks that you have with you are right along there for the ride.
yeah, and they've been fantastic. I wouldn't be doing half of this if it wasn't for them, obviously.
Yeah,
So always love a good community.
yeah. And
Um,
is it the same? The people who were there watching your stuff before you did the VTubing, did they stick with you, or is this pretty much an entirely new group?
this is pretty much an entirely new group. There is one person who has been there since the beginning, and that is a Myolithus in chat.
Mm,
Has been there since the YouTube days.
mm.
Most other people, over time, things change, people change. A lot of them don't usually come back. There's been some guest appearances of old chat member that's been interesting.
There's such a there's I get this feeling there's such a huge story there. You gave such a cliffhanger. That'd been
Uh,
interesting.
uh, there isn't. I don't know that there's that much more more of a story with it. I know I do like seeing old friends pop up occasionally,
Yeah.
but I don't know that there's there's much more to that story.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Just because I used to be in the media for 35 years doesn't mean I have to press on every single thing that comes up. Believe, but people can find out about that on their own. um, so, how did when you started getting as as a VTuber with the model, um, how quick was it for you to get a base audience? And did it was there fluctuations up and down? Was there any particular event that started bringing in people to stay?
So I would say it was my 3D model update. I had been streaming for about I think it was year and a half maybe
You
of my PNG tuber. And people were showing up, and those people are still around, and they still come and hang out and stuff. But I did know there was a significant influx whenever I did change to my 3D.
Mm.
VTuber, which I thought was interesting. I guess it does have a little bit more like motion to it,
Yeah.
which is probably appealing to look at.
Hmm.
But it was a very interesting uptick
Mm.
when that happened.
Yeah.
Um, Admittedly, I did start streaming, like close to, well, I guess just full time uh, at the time.
Yeah.
So that's probably also a major substantial factor into it.
Yeah. Yeah. That regularity does make a difference in uh, regular viewership because they can schedule it and be there all the time. That being
Hmm.
said, once you started getting these regular folks that were scheduling along with you and are there for the opening credits and and greet you each time, how did that hit you as far as your own gratification? How did that hit you?
Oh, it felt great.
Mm.
It felt whenever it was rising, it felt great. Uh, the interesting thing about it is I have noticed, and I'm sure many other VTubers before me have noticed, you lose a connection to chat
Mm.
the bigger you get.
Right.
Because suddenly it becomes harder to read individual chat messages. It's harder to see what your like old school chatters are saying.
Right.
It's hard to keep track of that and everything else you're doing, and you kind of start to lose a bit of a connection as I have grown, which
Hmm.
has been notable
Yeah.
to my enjoyment to streaming as well as to just the stream in general. Uh, but that initial burst was numbers go up dopamine, something I had not really like seen before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and it was nice.
Yeah. I heard people say that it's a obviously uplifting, sometimes justifying, um, but at least fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm doing the right thing then, and people are enjoying it. They're coming for your personality, and that's. I hope that VTubers realize this because um, they can watch somebody play Minecraft on a bunch of different channels, um, but the personality and how you do it and how you interact with people and your welcomeness and and their taste. If you are their taste, that's a very personal connection, whether you know each other's name or not.
Yeah.
And it's when you realize that, how does that hit you? That they're coming for you.
It it always blows my mind that
Wow.
people want to come and watch me make a silly joke about a video game or say something raunchy over some guy in a game or whatever. It's always I it's weird. Uh, and yet it just feels normal at the same time, right?
Yeah,
Because it's what we do these days.
yeah,
And I think it's very that dichotomy is very cool.
yeah. Well, and I noticed with your stream that you seem really comfortable with it, and some folks are manic and all over the place. They don't really always seem comfortable with it, but you seem comfortable with the chaos.
Oh yeah, I create the chaos. I have to be comfortable with it. Part of my stream, I don't know if you got to catch it while you were hanging around, is the high amount of interactivity options I give to chat.
Yeah,
I have stuff that like destroys the stream.
yeah.
I have wonky filters and funny bits and stuff.
Hmm.
And I encourage the chaos. I
Hmm.
think the chaos makes it more fun.
So when you look at something like that, do you look at if you look at adding something to your stream, do you look at it as something that you would enjoy if you were part of chat, or something that you would enjoy the as the streamer?
I think widely speaking, those two overlap quite a bit.
Mm.
But I tend to lean toward what chat would like more than what I would like
Yeah.
because there's some things I do just because I want them on
Right.
stream.
Right.
But there's a lot that it is uh it's just the relationship between streamer and chat and making some funny in jokes and doing some good bits is always more fun to me than like chasing after a lot of the more specific things that I have in my notes
Yeah.
that are just something that I will enjoy and chat will be like, that's kind of cool.
You don't want to go too far over everybody's head.
Mm-hmm.
If you aim low, you always hit something.
Exactly.
That's that is not good life advice, by the way, folks. Believe me, I'm not the person to take for life advice, something like that. But it is, however, true. Um, the the enjoyment that you get out of it at this point, is it at its peak? I mean, and if it is, did you think that you'd be this far with it when you started the VTuber part of your streaming career?
That is a good question.
I get one
I
every once in a
think
while.
I don't think it's at its peak any longer. I think it's receded a little bit,
Mm,
and I'm trying to get it back up to another peak,
mm,
and then beyond that peak, hopefully.
yeah.
Um, but I do think that it's still miles above whenever I was a flesh tuber.
Yeah.
Uh, there's just a lot more that I can do
Mm,
with it.
yeah.
And I can see in the future so many more things that I can do, but it means I have to do things. And sometimes I just don't want to do things.
Oh, just wait till you're old. It happens every day. like like getting up out of bed. I don't want to do that, but you have to. Okay.
Yeah.
But it I understand that. I understand it. But the more you have to balance that out between making it a grind and making it something that you continue to enjoy. Um, from what you've been talking about, it sounds like you're still a long way from it being a grind.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for that perfect balance
Mm-hmm.
or as close to perfect as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because some weeks it's a little bit more of a grind than it is other weeks.
Oh yeah,
But like still looking for that balance.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're only human, and
Yep.
there's gonna be bad weeks. I know. Good Lord, over 35 years in radio, there were bad years. But you had to keep going. But it's if you're able to keep the audience interested and keep uh, keep something positive going, so the audience will continue to react positively. Uh, that's a pretty good skill. And I think you mentioned, did you mention the word improv earlier with a game? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's and I know that there are some VTubers who actually do improv comedy, which makes sense in the long run, I guess. Um, do you look at it as kind of an improv situation with the chat?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think my biggest influences in the streaming sphere were people who kind of did it like it was an improv game.
mm,
Uh, and I just kept that with me. I'm definitely not as good at improv as a lot of other people,
yeah.
but I try my best, and that's all that matters.
There's a lot of people who think they're good.
Yeah, yeah, there sure is.
And those are the ones, those are the situations where the audience gets the bigger laugh, and that's not good when that happens to an improv person. Uh, but with that, you have to be agile enough to adjust to situations, and if you're working a game that you're just not feeling it, um, you got to read the room. I imagine. Has that happened to you on occasion?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh, Sometimes I'm too stubborn to stop playing the game. So I can't, and that's not an enjoyable experience for anyone, including myself. So that's a skill I still need to work on a little bit is my stubborn persistence. Uh, and then once I do that, the show is done. It's perfect. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. Well, I've seen folks who go through and start a game and it just doesn't click with them. They're not doing it. They don't understand it. And you could probably get a good stream out of that, just, goofing with it and explaining that how you're having a tough time with it. But don't, for the love of Marconi, don't go back again to it.
Yeah.
That joke didn't work. Don't use it again. It's still not going to work. And then now you're just dragging everybody through it. Have there been times where it's been tough for you to get yourself up for streaming and you've had to power your way through?
Yeah, definitely. I think early on, before I started like setting, rules and understanding the game
Uh-huh.
as it is of streaming, um, sometimes I would just go live and try and make it work.
Mm,
Uh, which in and of itself is its own skill.
mhm.
I would recommend not doing that to anybody anybody listening. I
Yeah.
would recommend taking a break whenever you need to.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely has been a time or two where I've had that situation.
Yeah. And since you mentioned you are stubborn, uh, I imagine you just went ahead and tried to crash through it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I want to say a lot of it was probably 2018 or so, back whenever I was playing it would have been Fallout 76 on release,
Oh
I want to
my.
say.
Playing that
And
game on
I
release
liked
playing that game on release makes you stubborn to start with. And but did you? I mean, you liked it when it first came out?
I still like it. I like
Yeah.
it now. I think they've basically fixed all the problems that existed.
Yeah.
But I did run into the glitch in Fallout 76, which it absorbs your power armor into your body and makes your model look a little freaky, and also makes it to where you can't play the game because your armor stats are always locked at 0. Or
Yeah.
whatever it was, much lower than they should have been. And I kept trying to play it more because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it just zapped all the enjoyment out, but I still kept trying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's such a. I mean, there's glitches and then there's game breakers, and that's just a game breaker. I mean, you can't.
Hmm.
You. First of all, I imagine it looked really ridiculous. Second of all, if you can't have any armor, how are you ever going to get through the game?
It was funny when it happened immediately,
Yeah.
because you do look ridiculous. And it very quickly dawned on me that I had been reading articles on this.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
and my experience was over. And I did not want to restart another character, so I
Yeah.
just I just kept going.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to go as far as you can until you meet your first uh, mole rat, and then you're dead. What a way to start! I know I've played the Fallout up to New Vegas, 3 in New Vegas, because my computer can't handle 4, the one I use for
Mm,
gaming. I have it, I've bought it, but I can't play it. Um, but I played 1 and 2, and
yeah.
yeah, you talk about a different setup. And 1 is much more tough to play than 2, I think. Um, just from the movement in particular. Uh, it's one of my favorites to play as the Fallout series. So I can imagine you getting into it and really being hyped up for it, and then Wait a second. um. Okay, I've planned several weeks of episodes about this game.
Yeah, yeah.
As you do the quick tap dance and call for the curtain. So what did you end up doing with it? I mean, did you have to just scrap it entirely and wait for the updates?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's what I did was I killed it. I killed the play in it and I moved on to I was probably indie games. I think I was doing a lot of indie games at the time. I've always loved playing whatever indie games I could get off of like old school Game Jolt and like
Mm,
uh well itch.io.
yeah.
There was another place, but I can't remember what it's called.
No,
Uh
not like GOG, is it?
no, it was like a what was it's like a games IMDb or something.
Oh, yeah. So
It mostly had like mods.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I haven't really done too many mods in games over the years and many years I've played. Um, and that's probably to my detriment. But depending on the game you're playing, it could really make it like a, you know, I'm fairly notorious for having 40 Stardew Valley save files, but I haven't played with any mods yet. Um, I'm kind of afraid to do it because I would never have any time to do anything else if I started up again. But um, do you look forward to the mods and playing with the mods and games?
Well, usually they're like full conversion mods that I
Mm.
like to play the most.
Ah,
I've never been the most into to mod scenes,
yeah.
but whenever I do a mod, it is some sort of full conversion of like Skyrim. I think I did one. I think I looked at a couple Oblivion ones. There's one for Doom 3 that just came out that I'm interested in.
Mm.
Uh, and then 500,000 Doom mods.
Well, there better be, yeah, definitely Doom one. I mean, heck, people were playing Doom on their copiers and their toasters there for a while, um, loading on every screen they possibly could. It's been around almost as long as Pong has been around, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
So, is there any particular type of stream that you haven't been able to do yet that you would like to try?
large scale events
Mm,
or even medium scale events. I have ideas, I have plans, I have intent for budget.
yeah.
Uh, they'll happen eventually,
Mm,
one way or another.
yeah.
But eventually could be another 10 years. Like I that is the biggest thing I would like to do. I like having guests on
Hmm.
for stuff. I've been trying to do some guest things.
Good.
Uh and I want to make more shows.
Yeah. That sounds excellent. I mean, if even if you were doing, like an interview thing, I encourage people to do that, especially VTubers, because my questions come from outside. You guys just come from inside. You got a different angle, and you're cutting the apple in a different place to try to catch that worm.
Yeah.
And so it's anything to spread actual conversation. I'm all for. Um, I think that would be excellent. You've got a very good voice for it, by the way, very engaging for it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's one of those voices that doesn't have a whole lot of sharp edges, and that automatically will uh, make it a more soothing voice to hear for a lot of people. Some people like the sharp edges. Some people are crazy, but a lot of us enjoy the smoother their type stuff, and that probably adds a lot to it. Um, as far as the games that you are playing, what are you playing right now on stream?
I'm doing Castlevania month. Um I was trying to think of something to do for Pride Month that was gay, and I couldn't think of anything gayer than vampires. So I've been doing that, and I've been having a rough time with some of these older NES Castlevania games. Uh, they've
Yeah,
been they've been a hard one for me to crack.
yeah. I mean, you've had to use the emulator for it, have you? And
I think I played the Anniversary Collection.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, it was some of these games. Unfortunately, the older ones just you can emulate them and you can have them on a different system, and they just don't have the same feel than
Hmm.
the originals. I know that there are a lot of. I was one of those that had the NES back in the Stone Age, and and the games were just made for those controllers. Now, if you take
Yeah.
now the kids got a had a Wii and bought Super Mario for the Wii on the Wii store that no longer exists, and I was trying to play Super Mario with number one on it, and I couldn't do it. Like the Wii has buttons, but they're not in the same spot.
Yeah, yeah, that's always been my biggest problem with emulating
Mm,
is that I like to play with the original controller because
yeah.
I played Super Mario Bros. Mario 3 on
Hmm.
an NES.
Hmm.
I played Castlevania 4 on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the way
You-
they the way
I-
that way that the programming gods meant it could be played.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It makes a big difference to me. I when we my wife and I got a PlayStation, I splurged a whole like $12 and got a CD that had a whole lot of arcade games that I used to love to play. Um, and it's a little disconcerting to have all of these quarters that I used to spend on arcades being reduced to one little spot on the disc. But there you go. Um, but I couldn't really play them because the controllers were different.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have like 8 buttons for this game, and I have two. How am I supposed to work that?
Yeah.
Or
I know I've been playing some of these like PlayStation Castlevania, the PlayStation era Castlevanias, but I have an Xbox One controller.
yeah, yeah.
And the buttons are in the same place, but they're called different things. And for some reason, my brain cannot wrap its head around the idea of the buttons being a different thing, and I freak out, and I hit the wrong button.
No, I knew not to do that. Hit the full Sam Kinison scream. No, into the microphone. Uh, yeah, and there were some games back for the NES that did that too. They switched the buttons for no reason. Like
Oh yeah.
instead of shooting and running, they would be running and shooting, and that would be really tough to do. That's a real cheap way to make your game harder to play. You just mess up all the controls. Some of them, I guess, you can assign during the game to certain buttons, but even then, it just doesn't feel right, does it?
No, no, it just doesn't. I always prefer to play on real hardware whenever I get a chance to.
Yeah.
Sometimes the used game market is cruel and decides to punish you by making a game $700, and I don't want to buy a used game for $700.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we used to just steal them from the videos. I mean, we would just rent them from the video store. And we actually it does happen to me one time. We had a video store that had NES games, and I rented an old Jeopardy game for the NES, and uh, and then the store went out of business. Like one week, like oh well, I guess if you want it, come get it. So I had in the old NES version of Jeopardy was impossible anyway. Um, you never even read the question; you just buzzed and then answered it, and that would make people really mad. Um, so would you rather have old NES and play on that, or something that's super complicated on a PS5?
I well, I guess you know what, I'm thinking about it. I'm like the answer's already answered for me. I'd rather have the NES.
Uh,
I have an NES.
yeah. Is it still
I
working?
don't have a PS5.
Yeah,
I've already
yeah. It is working good.
It is currently at my parents' place because they were begging me for my NES and Super Nintendo. And I hope it's working good. I hope they kept it in work. It was working good whenever I lent it to them.
go go to give the parents the eye. What did you do to the NES? That'd be a great TV commercial, actually. Um, the when I got the NES back in the day, it was that was the big thing. When I was younger, I had the Commodore 64 when it was the big thing. Um, After that, I got old and didn't have enough time to do a whole lot of these things, so it was quite a big jump. Um, when you play a series of games like Castlevania, is there a big jump from console to console and how the games play?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is I'll jump around. I'll jump around a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very, very. I think the last themed month I did was like some Sonic stuff, and then there was some Kirby stuff, and then we just did all of the Devil May Cries,
Mm.
and those are jumping all around eras, and uh, going from the first Devil May Cry on the PlayStation to the Devil May Cry 5 was kind of mind-boggling within about a few weeks.
Yeah.
It's I very much love video games.
Yeah.
I have all my consoles from when I was a kid. I have most of my games from when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and it's all been I love going from my favorite console, the N64 or the GameCube, to my PlayStation 3 or a Dreamcast. Like
Yeah.
I jump all over the place all the time.
Yeah. It's nice to have that all together and to be able to jump. If you have a favorite game on a Sega Genesis, you should be able to play it on the Sega Genesis, or at least with
Hmm.
with the capabilities of the Sega Genesis. Um, I don't think the bootleg type stuff works particularly well with, with the downloaded ROMs and stuff. It's always a mixed bag and probably illegal, but that never stops anybody. Um, the the question comes in the price of everything, and you just mentioned the older games. Um, People, I guess there's been a bit of a crash in the market, or one way or another, but still trying to get Bubble Bobble and having to spend $150 for it is a bit much.
Yeah. I For the last several years, I no longer feel the need to participate in the market, both because prices are too high and because you can do a little bit of emulation on console,
Mm,
and then you don't have to worry about it.
yeah.
Or like for like an N64,
Hmm.
they've got like those carts that you can load ROMs onto.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's very close. It's basically just like playing the game,
Right.
except it kind of depends. If you don't have like a CRT or something, then you're also running into problems with retro consoles.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
that's funny. People scrambling to get CRTs so they could play old games, and we went through all that. Yo, destroy your CRTs. It's bad for the environment. Oh no, I can't play my video games.
it's so funny to see, and I'm glad I still have my old CRT because I never liked getting rid of things or destroying things.
Yeah, I don't either.
Uh, so
I
I'm glad I still have it, and it's easy to play things. But even with stuff like I think they call them like the Retro Tink or something,
hmm
which are a little expensive, but they're good. They're good conversion boxes.
Yeah.
Not like the cheap. I'm sure we've all had a cheap Amazon one at one
Mm.
point.
Oh yeah.
That kind of makes things look a little bit
Yeah.
not right on a on an HD TV. But
Yes.
I think those retro things are supposed to make it look just like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, sooner or later, technology is going to catch up with all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what do you think about technology as far as VTubing is going? I seem to think that there's going to be a lot more innovation very soon. um, as far as that goes. And it's just, and as long as it keeps going, there's going to be more and more innovation, good and bad, probably, but mostly good. Have you seen that in the since you started, streaming in general in 2015? Obviously, it's come a long way.
Oh yeah, no, since 2015 I've seen like constant innovation in
Yeah.
the streaming space. I remember watching the first time there were like large scale events on Twitch
Yeah.
and it blowing my mind. I remember seeing people playing characters for the first time.
Yeah.
Uh I have seen it all.
I've
And I think unfortunately at this current moment, we're at a bit of a plateau
mm,
on technology and improvements, but
yeah.
I do foresee it in the future
Yeah.
just getting better again.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just currently it's mostly just currently it's hard for people to get tech.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it the as an ex early adopter to new techs, uh, I've noticed it the last 7 years or so, it's gotten more and more and more difficult
Yeah.
to get new cool tech.
Yeah.
And that has led to a bit of a plateau.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to make like an actual bodysuit
Mm.
that's affordable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can just throw on some clothes before stream and I don't have to mess with like trackers and stuff.
Yeah. But you
Uh,
know what's going to happen when that happens? We'll see people in those bodysuits walking around Walmart.
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And just walking down the street during the day, playing Pokemon Go or something in their bodysuit.
Yeah.
Um, the the total audience is still haven't been reached yet, and with that, you're going to have some people who get started watching that don't even have the equipment to fully appreciate the technology advances. Um, you got to keep an eye on your audience too. Um, if you get a five-dimensional character with realistic, spitting or whatever, I don't know what next thing come up, but the people at home and people are watching are on their iPhone 3 and and don't have any technology to take advantage of it. You're kind of sending trying to stuff 10 pounds of something into a 5 pound bag. Um,
Yeah.
you want to stay ahead of the times, but you don't be too far ahead.
I I think my opinion might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think people like it whenever right now specifically,
Mm.
doing early 2000s nostalgia
Hmm. Yeah.
is bigger than trying to stay with the modern trying to keep up with modern trends.
Right.
Uh, People seem to love it whenever I do things in 4x3.
Yeah.
I love if it wasn't as limiting, I'd go back to streaming in 4x3. Because I tried that for a little while and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I think I like I I'm the only VTuber I think who actively wants to make streaming worse. In a way that's like better. I don't know how to. That's basically a nonsense sentence,
Yeah. But
but it's. I know I can't compete with the people making bucket loads of money,
mm,
but I can compete with people who are just like turning on their PS4 Pro and
yeah.
going to the Twitch app and
Yeah.
playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
And I can do that with creative endeavors.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a question of having the talent and using the talent and putting in the effort to do it.
Hmm.
If you then there's still going to be a lot of people who are just in there to do it once a month, and
Hmm.
more power to them if they're enjoying it. And that's the biggest thing. If you're not enjoying it, don't do it. Um,
Yeah.
but if you are enjoying it and you want to put the work into it, then hopefully you're going to get the rewards for it too. Um, there's still some random chance involved in a lot of things, but The audience still isn't there yet. I think there's still millions of people who don't know. And once that, if somebody finds a way to bring a few more million people into it, then you're going to see a lot more. That plateau will be blown out of the water.
Oh, definitely.
People will go for it left and right. People will be streaming every second of their lives. If when it comes out to something like that, I won't, because I'm too busy, and I like sleeping, and I don't want people to watch me doing that. Although some people watch people sleep. But folks, you got to check out and see what Autumn's got going on, because my description does not do it justice. Really, some amazing stuff going on there. Lots of fun, and you can hear just from Autumn's voice that they're enjoying it, and I enjoy talking with you. And I really hope we can get you on again soon. We talk some more. Too much stuff we left on the table.
Yeah, I'd love to talk again sometime.
Yeah, so we're going to have all the links that we have for Autumn in the description. Check out what Autumn's got going on, and thank you again so much for being on with me.
Thanks for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.